Hello and welcome back to I Tried to Conquer CALRADIA in 100 Days, and we're attempting to take this. This is indeed one of the more difficult, one of the more difficult castles for us to take. Now, I'm not entirely sure if we're even going to be able to do this, even though it is indeed a ladder castle. This is one of those that just has a fiendish layout. It's not even that bad, really, but you could see exactly what the problem might be. So, let's see if we could do this. I do have a decent-ish shield. It's not too bad. It's not massive or anything like that, so it is going to be slightly less protective than if we were to use something slightly larger, but it's got some decent resistance to it, so we should be okay, technically. Now, let me see if I can do a little bit of damage with my crossbow. My crossbow is actually pretty decent, surprisingly enough. As you can see, I do have 121 in crossbows now, surprisingly. It took me a while to get there, but we are now doing relatively well in regards to its proficient. Well, yes, that is the most. That is very annoying. That is very, very annoying. There is nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. All right. Yeah, that was bad. Alright, we're going to have to go over to Urgelon Castle then, because it is currently being taken, or attempting to be taken, and we're gonna do what I said I would never do, which is we're going to act in a defensive siege. And this is not really a good idea. Just bear that in mind. This is not a good idea in any way, but the only reason why I'm doing this is because I kind of need to restore my HP, first of all, but we also need to eliminate these vassals if we can. Now, it very much depends on what's going to happen here. I'm not entirely sure why my vassal is here. That is hilarious in a bad way. Hopefully he's not going to do anything untoward. There we go. Okay, so they did actually go in. I'm actually surprised. Very, very surprised. Usually they don't do this. Anyway, 169 versus 344. I have full HP, and they have one ladder. Yes, they have one ladder with which to assault us, and I'm pretty sure they're going to have a great time. Yeah, they're going to have an absolutely wonderful time. I just need to not die. That's the biggest problem for us right now. That is the big issue. And, well, we can only hope that I am not going to die. I'm just going to try and shoot as many of them in the face as I can. And hopefully I won't get shot in the process. I am actually being shot right now, so let me just be a little bit careful about that. Hello there. Yes, we have a couple of people here. I need to murder them. I need to murder them as soon as possible. You absolute imbecile. Why is he standing in front of me right now? I have no idea. Well, never mind. If he wants to do that, then, you know, that's absolutely fine. But he is just an absolute imbecile. I don't know why. I don't know why you would do that, considering we are technically the most important character in this siege right now. Which is actually, I mean, apart from the fact that obviously if we die, it's game over. But apart from that, obviously we have much higher chances of killing enemies. A significant amount of them, in actual fact. I can literally just kill and kill and kill and kill. And we are the most efficient when it comes to that. So, yeah, that's just a, you know, it's just the reality of the situation when it comes to dealing with, you know, enemy siege offense. They just don't really know what to do against someone that is just standing behind a wall and just immediately attacking them and so on. So it is very much required. Unfortunately, the enemy's pretty good at what they do, as you can see. And they have a load of very, very good crossbowmen. Even if they're not good, they're still getting kills. And they are still going to be very, very fearsome indeed. And you could see exactly why that is. You could see that. They're doing it right now, you know. They're literally charging at us. You know, actually, a really good way to do this siege would be to actually go back into the courtyard and allow the crossbowmen to come down into it, because they wouldn't have any line of sight. That's the thing, you know. And if they have no line of sight, they wouldn't be able to see us, obviously, and we'd then be able to close the distance relatively fast when the time comes, you know, when we're able to get into range pretty quickly and then just murder them. That would be the way to go, but, well, I'm just hoping that they're going to run out of crossbow bolts relatively quickly, and it does seem as though that might be the case to a certain degree. I mean, you can see here, everything seems to be going quite nicely. How many have we killed so far? Only 150. Alright, we got another 150 to go then. Alright, so there it is. There's the battle won. We actually only got 6 renown for this victory, which I gotta say, I am not very pleased about. But yeah, it took me a long time to get that completed. We did level up, surprisingly enough. I really have no idea how many kills I actually ended up getting, because it doesn't tell you in native, but you know, it's decent. It's decent. Anyway, we finally have 4 in power draw, which is really, really nice. That means I can get her a much better bow, and hopefully Deshavi will now start to get a bunch more kills. Okay, so what we're going to do is, obviously, because we have taken Urgelon Castle, the problem is there are no garrisons nearby, and that is a big, big problem, because now what's going to happen is I'm running around with a significant amount of prisoners, and I don't have any place to put them. You see, that is the main issue. If I ran over to Nara, it would take me a long time to get there. I could technically take Cherise back, which may in fact be a, well, it might be an idea. It might be an idea. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go over there and we'll see what happens. Alright, so what do we have here? We have a bunch of Rodog vassals that wanted to attack us. I did just capture a castle. It was very, very simple, so I basically just I didn't even bother showing you, because let's face it, most of the time when there is a castle that's super, super easy, I basically just stand outside. I just stand outside the walls, and that's pretty much how we got to do things, otherwise I'm going to die, and well, you know. Generally, if you're not doing this challenge, I'd highly recommend just, hey, you know what, just installing diplomacy and just going with that, because that obviously makes it so that you get an after-death camera, and that is just fundamentally so good. You know, it's just fantastic. Hopefully I'm not going to die here. Ooh, that was close. As you can see, I die very fast. Extremely, extremely quickly. Even though I am wearing some pretty decent armor, it's just not enough most of the time. It is going to not protect you as much as you potentially could. Wow, okay. That was interesting. That was very interesting. Okay, I guess we're gonna go in again then. That is hilarious. Wow. I guess I have to play a lot more cowardly, I guess, you know? Just be very much out of the way or something like that, because otherwise I'm just gonna get shot. And that seems to be a common theme. Seems to be a common theme with the Rodox, fighting the Rodox, that is. Because as soon as a crossbowman has your number, or as soon as they're attempting to shoot you from a particular range, they're more than likely just going to hit, and you're going to die very quickly. Because, again, I don't have a huge amount of Iron Flesh or anything like that, and yeah, that really doesn't help matters at all. Obviously, Iron Flesh isn't going to save you in many cases. You know, you're just going to get killed no matter what. But there are a lot of cases where maybe it might just give you that slight smidgen a bit more, and then you're going to be fine, you know. It is, you know, very much case-by-case basis, of course, but it can help. Especially considering, obviously, if you're speccing into Iron Flesh, you're also speccing into Strength. And Strength gives you 1 HP as well. So technically, you're gaining quite a few points of HP, and it just slowly creeps up, you know? It does actually do quite a bit in the end. Anyway, as you can see, we do have a slightly larger company size now, and I'm just going to continue getting footmen so that I can level them up into Swadian Knights, of course. There we have it. Okay. Do we have anything here that we want to go for? No, not really. Actually, no. The mail mittens are not better than what I have. So this is where I currently am. As you can see, this guy was actually really close by. I was lucky enough not to get him in the battle itself as well. Man had leveled up apparently as well, so we're going to just get him another point in strength. I'm just going to level him into Iron Flesh 2. Just going to try to turn him into a bit of a beast in regards to his attacking power. I don't have that much food remaining, so I'm going to have to do something about that. Let's get these level ups, get these Swadian man-at-arms, get some more Nord Huskars and everything. And there we have it. Okay, that is looking pretty decent. So so I took Almera Castle. I had to leave Jamish Castle because it is a siege tower. And Shariz, by the way, that did not work out. The reason why Shariz didn't work out is because it was being attacked by a single Swadian vassal that had 35 troops. Yeah, I know. It's a rather shocking thought, isn't it, that Shariz could get taken by someone with only 35 troops. But this is the funny thing. It literally had 17 people. It had 17 people in the garrison, and I would have been able to easily take it myself. But yeah, just not possible. I wasn't possible. I had no way of getting there in time. You know, they decided to besiege it, and I thought, oh, okay, I'll go and check. You know, because let's face it, we should probably go and check those kinds of things. And so I went and checked, and indeed, it was just that one vassal. So very, very funny there. But who knows? Maybe, well, I'm actually stopping them right now. I'm actually stopping the Rhodoks from going and reinforcing the town, or in the very least, retaliating. You know, retaliating against the Swadians for capturing that. So it seems like that might actually be a bit of a potentially bad decision on my part. You know, I could have let the Rhodoks go by, and then I would have had a little bit more freedom to do what I need to do in Rhodok territory, or they could be going and attempting to recapture the castle that I took from them. It could very well be that they're trying to do that. So maybe it's a good idea that I attack them. That's the question. We don't know, you know? We don't know what the AI has in store for themselves, and so most of the time it's probably a good idea to just attack every single person on site, because if you do that, you're going to be keeping them as weak as possible for as long as possible, and that does seem to have a much greater impact, at least in my opinion. I think that would probably be a much greater impact over time than if it were to, you know, just leave them alone. Alright, so we just took him prisoner, and we're going to get the Tempered Sword here. I'm actually not entirely sure. Should I use this? It's got 99 speed. I actually don't really like the Tempered Nomad Saber. I'm going to say it. I don't really like it, you know? It's not as fantastic as I thought it would be, but I guess it's not too bad. Anyway, we are at Jokala here. We could potentially take that, or we could try to take Ibdela's castle. The main problem that I'm having right now is that towns for the Rhodoks are insanely difficult to take. They're very, very difficult to take. And, oh, we've got a guy. Look at this. Lord Belir has renounced his allegiance to the Khergit Khanate and pledged allegiance to the Satisfying Thrusters. Okay, well, that actually sounds pretty cool. All right. I like that. Maybe we'll have the opportunity to do something with that. Oh, Jeremus actually leveled up. That is fantastic. Okay, so we can get him another point in surgery, another point in engineering. As you can see, he's completely maxed out in pretty much every single skill that we want him maxed out in. But again, he's just very fragile, just like we are. You know, he doesn't have a huge amount in Iron Flesh or anything like that. Okay, so the question is, do we want to go in here? I think we do. I think we do. I mean, they only have 384, so they might not sally out. If they don't sally out, we probably just want to retreat straight away. I feel like that's probably the best course of action, but then when are we ever going to take it? That's the question. When are we ever going to take this? Let's see. No, they don't. They don't sally out. Oh, that is so annoying. That is really bad. If they would sally out, we would literally destroy them. But unfortunately, we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way then. Or maybe not, as the case may be, because as you can see, I just got absolutely killed. Yeah. I just got killed. And so this is exactly the reason why I have every single time in previous series. You know what I've done? I've completely just left the Rhodoks until last. I have literally just left the Rhodoks until last because this is exactly what happens. They just have too much. They just have way too much defensive power. And that just comes from their crossbowmen. And they are absolutely insane and so good at what they do. And you know what? I am actually going to try and take Veluca. Let's see whether we could do that. Maybe it's going to help. Alright, so we managed to do it, if you can believe that. Wow, that was crazy. Now, I literally just stood outside once again because there is no way that I'm going to survive. In the first 5 seconds of the battle, I took a shot to the face, took like 25 damage or 30 or whatever it was, and, well, I decided I was just going to stand there because otherwise I'm just going to die. And we now get to take King Graveth prisoner here, and we can also capture a couple of, well, rescue a couple of people, and yeah, that seems to be about it, unfortunately. Yeah, we don't have anything else available here. Alright, some crossbows, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. Well, nothing really to worry about there. I'm going to be giving this to Lord Forentis, actually. I'm going to give this to Forentis. She does not like that one bit. Well, that is to be expected. Not a problem. I mean, there's nothing much I could do about that either. She's just going to have to deal with it. And we'll go into the tavern here just in case. Maybe there's going to be a companion or something like that that would actually help us out. That would be quite nice. There is a ransom broker there as well. Mercenary swordsman. Okay, hello there. Yes. I will hire all of you. And we have the ransom broker. Do I have any prisoners that I can actually sell? No. Yeah, I do. I do. There we go. Yes. I'm carrying around some Vagiers still, which is actually hilarious. Not sure how that's even happened, but there you go. Anyway, we took Veluca, which is pretty crazy. If I can take Grunwalder Castle, then I'll be pretty happy with that. We could potentially go back to Urgelon Castle if we wanted to, but I think we'll go to Urgelon, maybe if it just gets taken, because let's face it, as I said before, it is never a good idea to be defensive against the AI, because they are very inefficient when it comes to their time spent. So I'm very much hoping that we're going to be having a somewhat better time than we did last time here, because obviously I got shot. And that was the main reason why we failed. So I think what I'm going to have to do is just hide once again. I might bring out my crossbow, because I did get a couple of kills in the Veluca siege. And it was literally just me getting some headshots with the crossbow. And that was pretty much it. But you can see here that I'm already taking significant damage just from the crossbows randomly trying to shoot me somewhat. So yeah, that's kind of harsh. Anyway, let's try and do some damage if I can. A little bit of snipey snipe action never hurt anyone, apart from these guys, of course. And oh, okay, actually not bad. Oh, nice. We got a headshot. If you could believe it. I mean, technically, my my accuracy is not that good, just generally, because I have very low proficiency skill right now, but yeah. Anyway, Marnid's gone down. We do have a lot of people shooting at us right now. Well, there it is. A rather decisive victory. I mean, obviously, if we can win in Veluca, then we can win, well, pretty much anywhere, I suppose. But it very much depends, again, on the layout. The layout was a little bit easier than I anticipated here, actually, because I thought, this layout seems pretty dangerous, but in the end, it didn't seem that difficult, so there is that. Anyway, we are just going to be giving that to Forentis once again, and as you can see, there we go. We have taken a sizable chunk out of the opponent's territory. Now, I'm just going to be heading on over. Okay, fine. They took Urgelon Castle. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to be going over there, And we're going to see exactly what's going on, because obviously if they have a significant... Ah, okay, this guy was actually quite strong. They've only got 37 in here. There's a bunch of Swadian Knights in there too. Look at that. 3 Swadian Knights, 2 Man-at-Arms. I could potentially take that and then rescue those troops. That would be pretty fun. Yeah, we're just basically also going to be accepting pretty much any ransoms that they have, because I'm not actually gaining that much money per week anymore, so I'm not entirely sure why that is, but maybe I just need to, you know, give myself some more fiefs or something like that. I actually don't know, but anyway, point is, we're going to be fine. We're okay. We're getting some cash. We're letting them go, which is not exactly great, not something that I think is that good to do, and I would definitely recommend not doing that if you're not wanting to fight these vassals again. But I'm almost pretty sure, pretty certain about it, that they're not really going to be that much of a threat. So that's the reason why I'm kind of letting them go instead of keeping them. But if you are worried about that, just keep them. You know, you don't have to give them back. You know, you can just you just keep them indefinitely, basically, unless you know, unless they escape, of course, which is highly likely, many cases, unless you have created a prison tower in one of your towns. But again, this is obviously having a massive time limit and a time expenditure of the prison tower, especially with a low engineering skill, is going to be about 50 to 60 days. So it is going to take basically almost half, well, pretty much half the time, if you have a decent engineering skill, to be able to even get the prisoner tower up and running. So it's not really going to be that worth it. Anyway, Ojalon Castle, I don't know whether I want to spend time taking that. Do I want to spend time taking that? I actually don't think so. I think the best course of action for me right now is probably to move on to one of the towns and just taking that, because Ojalon Castle, I don't really care about that. I care about Yalen, I care about Jokala. These things are going to be okay, fine. Okay, come on. Count Reland, you will be eliminated, sir. Yes, it is about time you be eliminated. Yes, there we go. Okay, so this guy obviously has just, you know, ground my gears a little bit here, and we are going to teach him a lesson. But generally, this is not a good idea to do. As I said, the AI is just so bad at being fast when it comes to sieges and things like that. And, you know, it's a good idea to just let them do whatever they want to do. And they're just going to waste their time, you know? They're just going to waste their time in these situations. But I don't really want to have to go through the sieges again. So that's the reason why I'm doing this. Even though it's really not that big a deal to eliminate 30 or so troops. It's going to be very simple for you to do that. So, yeah, as I say, if you're attempting to do the same kind of challenge, or if you're thinking about it, just keep that in mind. Keep in mind that you really don't want to react to what the AI is doing, but I'm doing it just because it's also fun to do some field battles. I actually do like fighting on the field. In native, I think it's actually really fun because you have this spectacle to look at. I mean, look at the you know, the amount of Swadian Knights that we have, and you know, it's just a very satisfying sight to see. So, you know, I very much appreciate it. And there it is, 7 renown for us. We did end up losing 1 man-at-arms, but that is, again, a price I'm more than willing to pay. So let's move on to Yalen. So we're going to have some issues at Yalen because they have 5 vassals here or something along those lines. They have a lot of vassals. Ah, yes. So they are sallying out. This is actually perfect for us. This is extremely good. I am very pleased about this. And this is actually something that I was just basically crossing my fingers and hoping would happen. Because this is just the best thing you can get when a town has a significant defense. And generally you can, as far as I'm aware, you can... Okay, don't die. I was gonna say a very important little thing, but yeah, no, we're gonna actually get it. Oh no, I might actually die here. I'm gonna have to get behind one of these. Yep, there we go. Okay, thank you. Whoa, that was actually very close. Anyway, okay. The important tip, okay, and I'm pretty sure this works for anything in Warband, any mod in Warband. I don't think it is particularly specific to anything. So, you know, I think it's very, very good. Anyway, if you have a majority of ranged troops in your party, you can force the opponent into a sally out almost every single time. And that is a strategy that may very well be the key to taking things extremely fast and taking things extremely quickly. Because look at this, we just killed 126 in no time at all. We just absolutely destroyed them extremely, extremely fast. And the only reason why we were able to do that is because they sallied out, of course. And, well, unfortunately for me, 136 is really not that much, because the majority of the vassals units were probably in the sally out. Well, it seems like we're now in a situation where leveling up some crossbow skill could actually be doable. As you can see right here, we're getting some nice kills, nice headshots, and I might even be able to get, well, maybe to the next level. Highly doubt it. You know, it's, I'm starting to get to that point in the game where it does take quite some time to level up. But who knows? Who knows? Anyway, Jeremus has actually been getting quite a few kills here as well, so I'm pretty sure he's gonna maybe level up soon too, again, which would be very, very nice. I mean, he doesn't need that many kills to actually get to the next level, because he is very low level at the moment. He's only like level 11 or something like that, so I think he should have a pretty easy time of doing that. But yeah, as you could tell, we have just completely destroyed everything here. I didn't do anything, as you could quite clearly see. I basically was just waiting outside once again. However, we did end up losing quite a few people, which is to be expected. Once again, you know, it's just absolutely 100% to be expected. It's just a transaction. It's the transaction that we have to make. And I don't really want these mountain bandits, all things considered. I don't want these mountain bandits or these looters, so I'm actually not going to be taking them. I don't want them in my party at the moment. Let's give it to Ferentis, I guess. Let's give it to Ferentis. Why not? I mean, makes sense. I think it makes sense, at least. Keep him, you know, in and around this area. And, yeah, I'm actually wondering if they are even getting any kind of benefit from having such a significant amount of fiefs, because it feels to me like they're not really getting very lucky with that, but, I don't know. It's kind of a bit strange. Anyway, we got some hired blades right there too. Okay, so I have 120. So this is what it's currently looking like right now. Obviously, Urgelon Castle is not being taken by us because it's actually under siege by the Swadians, which is hilarious. I'm not entirely sure what we can even do about the Swadians at this point, because it feels to me like the Swadians are going to be our main problem in the future, because you can see here that they have not been touched. Same thing with the Nords. I'm actually kind of surprised about that, to be honest, because there are a lot of factions that are attacking each other. You know, there are definite wars going on, but they are being a bit passive. It's very weird. It's very strange. I'm not entirely sure why that is, but yeah. Anyway, okay. So we've got Swadians, as you can see. We've got a ladder castle here. Okay, that's seemingly pretty decent. 219. Okay, I guess we could try it. They're not gonna sally out. Oh, hello. This is actually not even entirely bad. Of course, I would turn my camera as soon as I was about to get shot. That sounds like a fantastically classic idea of mine, isn't it? Yes, that's absolutely wonderful. But yeah, this is actually one of the rare times when a castle is in a perfect position for any kind of ranged army. So if you are a person that's using, you know, Vagia archers or you know, Rodok crossbowmen or something like that, then you're going to have an absolutely wonderful time here, and it's going to be extremely enjoyable for you because they're just going to murder everything in sight. And there it is, 10 renown for us right there. We did actually manage to capture this. Now, obviously, once again, I just stayed outside. Unfortunately, I would like to say that I could do something else, but again, there's a reason why I didn't install diplomacy, because it is making it much more difficult. Obviously, it is making it much more difficult for me, because otherwise I could just run in there. You know, I could just run in there any way I'd like, and I could do, you know, pretty much anything I wanted to. But this is making things more difficult for us, because otherwise I could just, you know, I could get quite a few kills technically, and we could level up much faster, and that would actually make things much easier for us in the long run. But yeah, that's the reason why I decided not to do that. But yeah, okay, let's try Jokala again. I think we did try this once before, didn't we? And here we go. This is exactly the reason why I said to you that I wasn't really making that much money anymore from our weekly wages, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, Jokala is... Ooh, they're actually selling out. Oh, I'm actually really surprised. Okay, I was certainly not expecting this. I was really thinking that we were just going to have to go in straight again. But no, I think it's because we have slightly less people than we had before. That's very strange. It must be that there is a very small deficit that we are now appealing towards. So the enemy thinks that we are much weaker than we are in actuality, and indeed they are trying to murder us, which is absolutely fine with me. Oh no. I am not going to allow this. I'm sorry. I am not going to allow this. I'm going to walk over here real fast. Am I still being shot at? Yes. Okay, let's just be a little bit careful. I'm watching that guy over there. There we go. Okay, now I can maybe... Nope, never mind. Okay, these guys are way too fast. What is actually going on with that? These guys have really fast attack speeds. Yeah, we should be fine. We are going to take quite a few casualties from this, but the enemy is also going to lose massive amounts of defenders, and that is a big deal. If they would remain inside the walls, this would be a done deal for them. They would literally be able to win this with very little effort. But yeah, as it stands right now, we are absolutely fine, and we may in fact be able to take this. And there's 16 renown for us as well. We did end up losing a couple of troops, which is really, again, not that much of a problem. And we're just going to wait here for a little bit of time, and then we'll be going in once more. I gotta say, this is actually remarkably much better for us than attacking the Vaegirs, because they were basically, well, obviously there is a siege tower town, and that's obviously a bit of a problem. Now, let's see if we can go in here, and let's see what happens. I have no idea how many... Oh no. Yeah, I remember this one now. This might be... Yeah, this might be kind of harsh. And there we have it. Now, this has been probably the most damaging of the sieges that we've done so far. As you can see, we lost 26 of our very important Swadian knights. However, this does now mean that we're done. I don't need to do anything more here. We can now leave the Rodok's territory if we want to. You know, we don't have to stay around here if we want to. We could just go, because we've basically captured everything that we set out to capture of theirs, and that's pretty decent, you know. That's okay. Unfortunately, as I said, we did lose a lot of Swadian knights, so I am going to have to do something about that, and I am going to start giving Katrine some things now. As you can see, she's now back up to 100% relation with us, which is actually very nice. Now we can just sell all of this stuff too. There we go, and then we can, well, I didn't actually want to walk around the streets. I wanted to go into the tavern. Let's see, is there anything here? Bunduck is here. That might actually be pretty cool. Let's get him, why not? And let's get some mercenary cavalry as well, basically just getting anyone that I can. And this is exactly what we're looking at right here. So, as far as I'm aware, one of these castles is a siege tower, I think. I'm not entirely sure whether Colmar Castle or Etros Castle is the siege tower, if any of them. But I know that Jamish Castle is a siege tower, and I think... I don't think Ibdelez is, but let me actually just take a quick look here. Yes, it is. Never mind. Okay, so maybe those are literally ladder castles. It might very well be, but as you can see, the Rodoks literally have nothing. They have 1, 2, 3, 4 castles. That's it. They just have 4 castles. And the Saranids have 1, 2, 3, 4 castles. And I think one of these is actually a ladder castle as well, by the way. So that's really quite impressive. And then the Vaegirs, they have, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they have 4 fiefs in total, and they do have 1 town, obviously, which is a pretty big... Yeah, it's kind of annoying. But I'd have to expend a lot of time to take that, which would be not great. But yeah, we still have 31 Swadian Knights, by the way. We still have a significant amount of them, but yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I gotta say, very, very good that we were able to crush the Rodoks so decisively. And so that's it. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.